It's time. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. It is time for the American people to show the world who we are. The citizens of this country should have flooded our nation's capital months ago. This is not a creeping towards fascism or authoritarianism. We are there. They are prosecuting political enemies. They are arresting our friends, detaining and sending our neighbors to death camps, sending out missiles, as we just heard today, in an attempt to sabotage what is expected to be the biggest protest possibly in American history this coming Saturday, because they are so desperate to distract from the resistance in this country. This administration is weak, it is faltering, and we have to now stand up and show up. So today, I, as the founder of the Removal Coalition, are going to be joined by two people with some major announcements for you. One is my friend Cliff Cash, who you know well, comedian, not so accidental activist who has been in this fight with me from the beginning. We have a major announcement about what we are planning in the nation's capital, the what's next after No Kings this coming Saturday. And Hunter Dunn from 5051, National Press Coordinator for 5051, his first time on Lights On, but he's been working behind the scenes with us in the Removal Coalition for a long time right now. So I'm really excited to bring both of them in tonight. Please join me in welcoming my friends, Cliff and Hunter, to Lights On. Hey, guys. So since you're new, Hunter, I'm going to give you the floor right off the bat. I know you sent this article to me written by Aaron Parnas about the fact that Trump is literally possibly going to launch missiles from warships into California this Friday as part of an anniversary for the Marine Corps that J.D. Vance is coming to. You know, it reminds me of men who can't launch other things trying to launch missiles to make up for their weakness. But yeah, let me just get your thoughts on what he's trying to bring to Southern California. You and I are literally going to be at No Kings in LA.
Yeah, I have to say, this is probably the most insane thing I've read maybe ever. And my college thesis was studying Curtis Yarvin. So when we're talking about insanity, right? Like I'm already in the hen house. Based on my understanding of reading the article, what Trump's planning on doing is shutting down the I-5 up in down in San Diego County, parts of OC, and also firing missiles into Camp Pendleton for some reason, which is maybe the most borderline suicidal thing I think a country has ever suggested doing. Like, it's just, as a Californian, I'm horrified, obviously, but I'm also baffled because, like, this is the dumbest thing I've heard in weeks, months, ever, maybe.
Yeah, Cliff and I were just talking about, you remember the moniker Little Rocket Man, right? Little Rocket Man for Kim Jong-un. I think we have our own Little Rocket Man, Cliff, huh?
Cliff, you're muted.
Let's unmute Cliff. There we go.
He's not much different than Kim Jong-un in the sense that he's a Nepo baby who doesn't deserve anything that he has and would screw over his own relatives and has, just like Kim Jong-un. And he's a small man pretending to be big and a weak man pretending to be powerful. And that's what all these people are. That's what Putin is too. You know, I always say, like, I'm not surprised that the right is simping for a dictator, but I'm shocked that they're simping for a 5'4" dictator who can't even fight his own wars without borrowing troops from North Korea. Like, Putin's a loser. Kim Jong-un's a loser. Donald Trump's a loser.
Yeah, they are losers. And that's what this is. That's what's been so frustrating, I think, for you and I, Cliff, and I'm sure for you, Hunter, for those of us on the ground who have been organizing these protests for months, for the American people not to understand our own power in the face of these losers, these pathetic, tiny, little, impotent men. I mean, we simply have to exercise it. We simply have to stand there and demand that the power be restored to us where it belongs and put these people in their place. And Hunter, I know you want to talk about what's coming up on Saturday, No Kings, from the perspective of 5051. Just tell us, because we are really expecting probably one of the largest protests in American history on Saturday. We, with the Removal Coalition, have helped brand a lot of these, including the one in Southern California, remove the regime, because there needs to be a demand tied to these protests. They can't just be us filling the streets for another day that's just going to pass and nothing's going to happen. We've branded this remove the regime as much as we possibly could. What do you want to see from Americans on Saturday, Hunter?
Yeah, when it comes to mass mobilizations around the country right now, it's really important to get as many people out there as possible for a number of reasons. One is the American people don't have a protesting muscle yet. We're not like France or Nepal or even apparently Madagascar. Got to give those guys some credit. So some stories came out the past couple days about them removing a corrupt politician from office, my understanding, through civil disobedience. We have to build up to that, right? Like I think I lost you guys for a second there.
No, you're on. You're live.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's one reason, is we have to build that protesting muscle. Another reason is, again, like quite simply, they can't arrest 10 million of us. They can't arrest 6, 7, 8, 9, hell, maybe even 11 and get close to that 3.5% number, yeah? That's part of it as well. We had over 5 million people at the first No Kings. That was at 2,100 events around the country and the entire world. We're already at 2,500 events registered on the Mobilize, and there are going to be hundreds of events we don't know about until after they already happened. Right now, based on just RSVPs, and again, you do not have to RSVP to protest. If you want to, I recommend using like a burner contact of some kind. It's good to get the emails, but you don't want to give Palantir your data in case something happens. That's my personal recommendation, but access your own security risk. But even with us being more emphasizing that you don't have to, we're at almost double where we were in registrations compared to the first No Kings. So we're looking at significantly more people, probably at significantly more events than the 5 million we had in No Kings. Another thing is, I really want to hammer this point home. For the first No Kings in LA, we were occupied by Trump invaded Los Angeles, right? After some massive ICE raids led to massive protests, labor leader David Huerta was arrested, and the protests simply did not stop. I was there on the ground. I got tear gassed while passing out water. And the protests continued. Trump called in the National Guard, and the protests did not stop. It led to a crescendo where the entire world stood with Los Angeles on June 14th on No Kings Day. Yep. And after that, it was clear that Trump had no real power over the city, that the people had the power, not just the people in Los Angeles, but the people of the United States. And the occupation faded not with a bang, but with a whimper. But now we're seeing him do the same thing to Memphis. We're seeing him do the same thing to D.C. And we're seeing him trying to claim that Chicago and Portland are war zones. When you cut to Chicago or Portland, you cut to a live feed of Portland, what do you see? You see a guy in a frog costume dancing to an electric slide, right? We are the peaceful ones. We are the nonviolent ones. And showing the world that Trump's lying, and showing the National Guard, showing the military, showing Trump that Trump has no power over these cities by standing in solidarity with them, that's really important. To me, that's the most important thing that No Kings can provide. It can provide a show of strength for the people who are in the occupied cities.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And I think one thing that that those of us organizing, I know Cliff and I have been trying to message this a lot, is for No Kings, it's very important, like, get to a major city, get to your capital. Try to not let these demonstrations be spread out. The more that you can get to the center and let that presence of people flooding a major city peacefully be unmistakable on this day, leading up to what we're going to do in November, which is in only one place. Do that. You know, if you're in the Southern California area, come join us in downtown LA. If you're in the Chicago area, get to Chicago. Don't go to some suburb. If you're in New York City, don't go to New Jersey or Westchester or somewhere else. Go to New York City. If you're in Washington, D.C., don't go to Bethesda or Fairfax or Woodbridge. Go to Washington, D.C. Like, get to your major city and let the numbers be massive in those major urban hubs.
Or do both.
Yeah, both,
right,
for sure.
So
time it out so you can do both, for sure.
Yeah, so this is a thing. Los Angeles is at 2 p.m. for this one.
Yeah.
Part of the reason we're so late compared to some of the other protests is that so people can come in from Santa Clarita, people can come in from Long Beach. I-5 permitting, people could even come in from possibly as far down as San Diego or much further north, right? The way that we set it up here in SoCal is to let people go to those events in their downtown, and then from there go to the Los Angeles one. There's going to be several rallies in Los Angeles earlier in the day that feed directly into this one. A number of unions are putting on an amazing event out front of Los Angeles Unified School District. There's going to be elected officials are supposed to be there. It's going to be awesome. They're going to march and they're going to meet us right as our rally begins. There's also people that are planning an actual taco costume party right before the rally kicks off. I had no knowledge of this. I found out on accident a couple days ago. I was a little bit confused, but honestly, I'm kind of into it. It's great. So that's another thing. You can go to multiple events, right? Go to your local town. Show even in red cities, red towns, red neighborhoods, how many people, even if you are a Republican or a Democrat or like me, a registered independent, working families party, show them that we, the American people, are against fascism, are against Donald Trump's personal brand of fascism, and then come to a giant march in one of the large cities, one of the main events like Los Angeles or DC.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I'm so happy that LA staggered that for us and we can do that. So Cliff, I'm going to tee this up for you to really give us the real lowdown on what we have in the works. I am so excited about this. I am so excited about the group that is behind this. We are planning something massive for you in late November. I'm going to tell you the date in just a second. Just to give you a sense, this is the same group that put together 9/2, the first Remove the Regime in Washington, D.C. We had the largest ever peaceful lobbying for impeachment through the halls of Congress. We had an epic day of influencers. We marched with Congressman Al Green. We were in the offices of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Hakeem Jeffries, who then offered us a meeting, offered it to American opposition after that very powerful meeting in their office. We are mobilized. We are excited. We have the Dropkick Murphys joining us on this date. And what we need to do, folks, is we need to bring all of this energy that is going to be spread out all over the country on 10/18, and we need to center it in the nation's capital. We need to peacefully flood and descend on Washington, D.C. The date is 11/22. 11/22 in Washington, D.C. is going to be an epic Remove the Regime event with live entertainment, comedians, pastors, influencers. It will be preceded by a few days of congressional action and other activities. This is going to be a massive production with your help and a massive showing. And we really, really want to make and change history with this event. Cliff, can you take me from here?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to really iterate to people that first, this really should have already happened. I think people all around the world in other countries, I mean, I don't think I know because they're telling me on my social medias, are saying, why are Americans not flooding the Capitol? And I don't know why, and it doesn't matter why we haven't done it yet, but we need to do it now. Now is the time. This regime is disappearing innocent people to literal death camps. It's come out that over 60% of the people they're sending to places like Sukkot have zero criminal background at all. They're just taking migrant workers off the streets and sending them to places like Sukkot, where the president of that country has bragged, no one leaves here alive. That's the definition of a death camp. They are arresting journalists and mayors. He's going after former heads of the FBI. He's going after attorneys general and district attorneys, and it's insane. So this administration is a monster. This is what I've been saying. It is a monster, but it's a monster that has been wounded and is stumbling. The Epstein files is political kryptonite for this party, for this regime, for Donald Trump, for J.D. Vance, and all the other sycophants. They all screamed about it for years, how it was the biggest issue, and now they're in complete control of it, and they're knowingly and actively and purposefully hiding it. They're doing everything. They're doing political backflips to hide this from the American people because Donald Trump is a pedophile. Everybody thinks that TACO stands for Trump always chickens out. It actually stands for Trump assaults children, obviously. And so this is a regime that is wounded and maimed, and a massive event like this in DC could be the optics that becomes the death knell for this regime. This could be the beginning of the end when we send this message globally, but it only works if we have stifling numbers. It can't be thousands. It's got to be hundreds of thousands or more. It's got to be a historical day. And there will come a time in our lives, assuming we live long enough, there will come a time in all of our lives where someone will ask, what did you do during this time? And more importantly, we're all going to have to ask ourselves. We're all going to have to know for the rest of our lives whether we did something or not. This is every American's chance to be able to look back and say, I made history. I showed up to DC on a historic day with 1 million or 2 or whatever it ends up being of my fellow citizens. And we shut the city down, and we sent a message, not just to this fascist regime, not just to these below average, unfuckable incel country club fascists, but to our leaders, to give them the optics and the permission structure to do what needs to be done to remove these Nazi trash clowns from the people's White House. And it also sends a message to our Democratic allies from Mexico and Canada to Germany and the UK. We're done. We're done with this dude. We are now standing up the way you expected us to 10 months ago, and we won't be going back the other way.
Hunter?
Sorry, it just the country club comment sent me. I don't know, Cliff, if you've seen the Politico article that came out yesterday. Yeah, because I don't think those are country club guys anymore. I think those are basement dwellers.
They're small town country. Those are small town country club boys. Those are the boys that the
we're talking about the racist white supremacist trash, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like,
dance with.
Look, I'm no comedian, right? Like, I'm not going to be Cliff in this, so I'm not going to try. But I just want to say, when you look at the photos of the people making these disgusting claims, plans, jokes, whatever, they really think they're the master race.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna make any specific comments. I'm just saying, right? And like, I'm a solid 5 out of 10. I'm not here to like throw stones, but that is quite the glass house for the so-called master race. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like any of those people would survive eugenics.
No. I highly doubt that. Not that Trump would either, as we've learned. Not that Trump would either. But
first.
On the 11/22, right? Remove the regime. Going to DC.
Yes.
The American people need to be doing more, right? Like, I've seen people in the chat being like, why aren't there protests every day? There are protests every day. You're just not hearing about them because the media only covers them when there's something massive, when there's something like no kings. So there's something like, possibly even remove the regime on the 22nd, which I think is a good idea. I think it's important to go to DC on a consistent basis and show Trump at his own front door that the American people are against what he's doing and put pressure on them. But also, something we do need to keep in mind is America, I'm going to use a vocab word here, America does not have a primate city. In a lot of countries around the world, there's a primate city, a city that has like almost half the population, if not more, in one city and suburb area, right? So when other countries go to their capital, if they shut down their capital, that can be the end of a regime. That can be the end of that government. With DC alone, just shutting down DC on its own is important, is something we should be doing on a consistent basis, if you ask me, just speaking as myself. But when it comes to forcing the regime out of power, we got to be thinking bigger. We got to be thinking a whole lot bigger than something we can get done in 1 month in one city.
Sure.
Right? There's ports.
It's a
There's a
movement. It's a
shut
movement.
down.
It's a momentum. And we have to show that. That's the thing. Like, we have
Yes.
not even taken that beginning step of shutting down the nation's capital yet. We haven't even done that. And like you said, Hunter, all these protests that are happening all the time, they don't get covered. Even what we did on 9/2, which was epic and massive and historic. I think I saw one actual print journalism media article and zero, mainstream television coverage of it. And it was amazing. It was incredible. It was all over social media. It was all over, it went viral in that sense. But we have to at least do this in DC, even though we don't have, the population centers that other countries that have done this have. We've got to be thinking outside of the box, like I've been saying from day one, about ways to reclaim our power, to show them what we are capable of, what we are willing to stand up for, that we're not afraid, and that we mean business.
This is what I think is the most important part of a massive DC action. Nobody thinks that we just show up in DC and he goes, well, that's a lot of people. I guess I'm going to resign and everybody's going to come with me. JD Vance and Kash Patel, everybody's going to go back to the QAnon basement and do a circle jerk. I wish that would happen. But what I think could happen is I think it's important optics. I think it sends a really clear message worldwide. The Americans have shown up in their capital and they're demanding the removal of this leader. International news will pick up on that if this is big enough, which if I intend for it to be big. I'm not doing this to get some small ass crowd out to DC. We're going for the whole shebang. We're all in this wholeheartedly. And I think another reason it's important is, I always say this to people, it's great to be able to protest where you live, but it's time for us to go protest where they live, and they live in DC. And these, even Republicans, I mean, we're seeing Massey come out and go against the grain on the Epstein files. We're even seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace and people like that. There are Republicans inside the Republican Party that think Donald Trump is a rapist, con man, traitor, Russian asset, sycophant, imbecile. I promise you.
Most of them think that. I think most of them think that.
And what they need, that they are moral cowards. They are spineless, ethically rudderless, opportunist, simpleton people. But what they need is optics. When it starts to feel like, man, even MAGA is going against him, which we're seeing that every day. I'm seeing it where I live. The flags are coming down. Even the diehard yards that had 5 signs and 3 flags, they're gone. These Republicans feel it too. They're hearing it from Joe Rogan and all the other bros. And then they see these big crowds in DC. These people will start to grow a spine if they think it's politically advantageous. And so we have to show them that it is. We have to show Democrats that, hey, the people are behind you for you to do what you need to do. So to me, that's the biggest part of it is I know that shutting down DC for a day or a weekend won't end this nightmare, but I think it's really, really important optics. And in my humble opinion, it should have happened in January, or it should have happened before we should have filled the streets of DC with 5 million people demanding that he not be allowed into our White House.
100%. And you and me, Cliff, were there trying to do it. And that's
why people freezing my ass off, being like, please, Congress, please talk about the Constitution.
But our crowds have gotten progressively larger and larger, and we need them to be, we really need you to stand up with us. And then we're doing this. We have a very short window of time. First of all, we have a short window of time in DC before it gets too cold. We have a short window of time before everybody goes away for the holidays. This is the last weekend in November. It gives you time to plan after No Kings, to make your plans, make some sacrifices. I understand we are all making massive sacrifices in our lives. None of us are getting paid. None of us see a paycheck from George Soros ever. We are literally just committing our lives to this. And if we all did that, if everybody did that, this whole picture would change. Our whole story, our whole trajectory. Like Cliff said, these are cowards in Congress. I have had one-on-one conversations with senators where they tell me, when we talk about impeachment, the public's just not there yet. the opinions. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, first of all, Trump didn't win this election, but even if you believe that he did, he got about a third of registered voters, according to the numbers that we have. He is massively unpopular, like Cliff said, becoming more unpopular, losing even support among his base. Over 50% of this country wants him impeached and removed. I saw a pretty viral Instagram post this week. Some viewers shared it with me about a woman talking about, look, if you want to remove Trump in the cabinet, it's not the 25th Amendment, because God knows his own cabinet members would never do that to him. It's actually impeachment. We're like, oh, wow. Hello. What have we been saying all along? Impeachment and removal. This is the constitutional means to get these motherfuckers out of these seats of power that they have hijacked from the people. So impeachment and removal is the way. Stop letting them. They have you so gaslit. Trump has you so gaslit into thinking that because it failed twice, it's not going to work again. Screw that. Third time's a charm. I mean, whoever told you?
And who cares? Let's do it anyway.
Who cares? I mean, what parent ever raised their child to say, if you try twice and fail, then just give up?
Totally.
I mean, give me a fucking break. This is the means to get him out of power. And we need to stop giving cover to Republicans or Democrats who are saying that there is not support for this. And that's why we have to show up in DC on 11/22, because we will be absolutely disabusing them of this ridiculous notion that there is not public support to remove this fascist regime.
Yeah, it's got to be a loud, clear message to Congress too.
No, absolutely. We need to go out of our way to make elected representatives understand that they need to be representing the people, or they will be representing nothing come 2026 and come 2028, right? Trump's can do what he can to try to rig the election, obviously. We're already seeing Republican state legislators attempt to do that. They're not going to succeed, thanks to wonderful ballot measures like Prop 50, for example, in California, which will directly respond to any Republican legislator that attempts to gerrymander an election. And it's quite possible 11/22 would be a great way of making that voice better heard, because I know something you guys are doing, something that you guys are going out of your way to do, is to go speak with congressional representatives directly. And I really appreciate that. We also need to be careful, right? Because we can't trust everyone who just says they're against Trump. Chuck Schumer says he's against Trump, and yet he won't do anything to actually try to stop him. The shutdown's the most we've gotten. And even then, I swear to God, I don't want to say I know for a fact, but I'm pretty confident that he's got some staffers keeping him in a room so he can't vote to end the shutdown and give Trump what he wants, right? Like, there are elected officials who we've seen shift and go out of their way to actually provide meaningful resistance against Trump. There are more elected officials every day, but elected officials need to understand, especially Democrats, that if they cannot give more meaningful resistance to Trump than Thomas Massey's giving, they need to give their shit together or they need to resign. 100%. And another thing is, the American people also can't just be trusting anyone who says they're against Trump, right? I'm going to give a pretty recent example. Another reason I think 11/22 is good is because it's a better strategy than trying to do something just a few weeks after. You're giving people time to make plans. You're giving people time to get there. There's a similar effort, a trap effort on 11/5, right? There's another group trying to do one. And, the problem is not every group that's anti-Trump is actually anti-dictator, is actually anti-fascist. Some of them want to replace one old white guy with another. Some people want to remove Trump from power and just get J.D. Vance. Other people want to put a guy in who wants to put LGBTQ plus people in concentration camps, which is a step further than Trump's already gone so far. Bobavakian. I'm sorry. What's that weird buzzing noise? It's not like they're actively harassing all of us on social media and trying to figure out ways to co-opt events or stealing money from women's reproductive health organizations by pretending to be one when in reality they're funding an old white wannabe dictator. So,
Hunter, tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel.
Tell me how I really feel, right? We got to be very careful with who we're trusting in this fight.
Yeah.
So
We
what
actually,
we have
at
to
the
do,
Removal Coalition, we have some events lined up on 11/5 that if you are planning on being in DC, and this is kind of a warm up for 11/22, if you're planning on being on DC on 11/5, we have scheduled from the Removal Coalition and Flair congressional visits. The handmaids are going to be there. I've talked about this on the show before. So that is a warm up. And we thought about, we had to make some quick strategic decisions about the date to do this. And of course, being very, mindful of who we're partnering with for all of the reasons that Hunter just articulated. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we're kind of just reading, but you have to read between the lines here. But we did want to, we wanted to pick a date that would be accessible, meaning a Saturday, a weekend. That we can precede it with the events, but we're going to have our main event on that Saturday on 11/22. It gives you time to plan. It gives you time to get there. By the way, my friends, this is not going to happen for free. It's going to be pretty darn expensive to pull this off. If you want to support us, we need your help. And you can do it at the QR codes that are on this flyer. It is currently at removalcoalition.org/remove the regime, removalcoalition.org/remove the regime, which is in the description right now. We'll have a dedicated URL probably within 24 hours, but right now you can find it there. And if you want to support us in the actual production expenses, which will be massive for that event, we would love that. Cliff, I know you have to run soon. You want to give us any final words before you hop?
I just want to say for anybody watching and thinking about coming, first of all, I think you definitely should, and you should get all your loved ones to come with you. Make it a family trip, make it a buddies trip, make it a girls trip, whatever. Quit your job, burn your fucking house, whatever you got to do. I want to say a couple things, because every time I post saying DC is the pressure point, we need people in DC, somebody always goes, I live in Madagascar and I just got my foot operated on and I only have a nickel. And I just want people to know, like, then you're not the person that I'm talking to. I know that there are financially disadvantaged people in this country. It's one of the reasons I'm fighting this fight, to fight against the elements that are causing that to be this way in this country. But just within a 5-hour radius of Washington, D.C., there are millions of able-bodied, financially able, pro-democracy, pro-constitution people who can flood D.C. So we don't even need you to fly from Alaska or even from Portland or Seattle or L.A. or whatever. We need you to drive in from Baltimore and Fredericksburg and Richmond and Roanoke and Norfolk and Harrisburg and Philadelphia. That's who needs to come. If you want to come, I have personally led people into Congress from Hawaii and Texas and California and Florida. I mean, almost every state regularly. Every time we lead people into Congress, every time I've attended, there have been people from dozens of states. But we really need to pull from a 5-6 hour radius around DC. If we just did that, if people really make up their minds, I'm gonna skip some dinners out this month. I'm gonna skip some lunches. I'm gonna save some money doing this and that, and I'm gonna get the cheapest hotel I can find near DC for one night. And I'm gonna come on Saturday. I'm gonna put my body in the way of this fascist regime because history is asking me to. I really want to tug at people's heartstrings. If you're listening to this and you have friends around DC, talk to them for us, because we can't do this by ourselves. So what we're doing, we're building a huge coalition of progressive voices, content creators, influencers, organizations, and veterans groups. And we're going to combine all of our efforts. So influencers that have 1 million followers or 2 million or 3 million, we're going to have dozens of people like that. So our hope is that we can amplify our reach to maybe 50 million followers or 100 million followers. And these veterans groups can ask veterans to come. We're hoping to get some celebrities to speak on behalf of this and get their supporters to come out. So if you have any ideas for any of those things I just mentioned, please let us know. And lastly, there's going to be, we don't have everything scheduled and detailed yet, but there are going to be congressional visits led by people like me and Jessica, where we're going to lead regular citizens into Congress to say all the stuff you've been wanting to say. We'll show you how to get there. We'll keep you safe. We'll have marshals. We'll have scripts. We'll have handouts. There's going to be stand-up comedy. I'm going to be one of the comedians. There's going to be live music. There's going to be incredible speakers. There's going to be an influencer event where you can hang with your favorite influencers for a happy hour event with, maybe it's 100 other people and a couple dozen influencers. So we're still working out all the details, but the main detail that you need to know is November the 22nd. And we need you to show up. And if you can't show up, we need you to help us fund it. We got to build stages. We got to get porta-johns and security and water and power and permits, everything that you can imagine for a production this big.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that link right now is removalcoalition.org/remove the regime. Removalcoalition.org/remove the regime. It's also the QR code on this flyer. Cliff, do you want to announce any specific thresholds for any of those events, or should we hold on that for right now?
I mean, what I have in my mind right now is, anyone that gives $1,000 is going to get into the comedy show for free, get into that influencer happy hour for free, and meet some people that you probably feel like are heroes. Because I some of these people are my friends, and I think they're heroes. So I think that $1,000 threshold automatically gets you into any of the ticketed events for sure for the weekend. And man, if we get 100 people to give us $1,000, we can quit asking you for money. This doesn't have
exactly.
NPR, NPR donation drive. We'll send you a mug in the mail or a T-shirt, whichever you like.
Yeah, and I think that those would be two separate events. So we're going to have an influencer meet and greet and a comedy show. The comedy show, I think, will have a lower threshold just for tickets. But if you want to get into both, it would be for that $1,000 donation. So that would be an amazing gift, and we would thank you very much and look forward to meeting you. By the way, Cliff says we're going to keep you safe. We are always safe at these things. I want you to know that. I want you to know that you are looking at 3 people who have been on the streets since, 2 of us since January. Hunter, I think you've been on the street since February. We've been safe at these things every single time. You will be safe, especially in the nation's capital. The military of this country, and this is one thing that I have really been heartened by in our interactions in the past few months, is not only the overabundance of veterans in our group, in the Removal Coalition and the resistance on the progressive side, but when I have interactions with National Guard, whether it's in DC or LA, these are not people that are going to turn on American citizens. They're just not. And we saw that in that, ridiculous spectacle at Quantico a few weeks ago from the flag officers too. We're safe. Understand we're safe. And the larger of a presence that we make together, the safer we are. And we're going to have fun while we do it too.
We're going to have professional security, and we're also going to have tons of safety marshals who are veterans. So you are going to be surrounded on all sides by security and safety marshals. And to double down on what Jessica said, one of our good friends just got arrested in Portland today, Robbie Roadsteamer, who's a hilarious guy that dresses up in animal costumes and plays songs and sings, kind of taunts MAGA and ICE and all these different people. He's hilarious. He's a super nice guy.
He's a sweetheart in person. Absolute sweetheart.
Totally. Yeah. Nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. Just got arrested for no reason by ICE. And the reason that was able to happen, and the reason it happens every time a protester gets arrested, because there weren't quite enough. Because you can't do shit to 1 million people. I don't care if you're Donald Trump or Kim Jong-un. You cannot do shit to 1 million people. So we need to focus on getting 1 million people to DC, and we will be unfuckwithable. And we will send a message to the entire world. Come get your boy. Come get Kankle's McTaco Tits. We're done with him.
We're done with it, Hunter. Yeah?
I mean, look, I'm here because several of our chapters, including 5051 SoCal, which is the chapter 5051 I'm a part of, are part of the Removal Coalition, right? So when I'm speaking on this, I'm speaking as someone who's going to try to do everything he can to make his own way down there on November 22nd to help remove the regime. And I encourage everyone to look into both nokings.org and sign up for their local No Kings protest, to get involved with community groups on the ground in their local neighborhood, city, town, and to strongly consider what the next actions they're all going to take to provide meaningful opposition to the Trump regime, and whether or not they can make 11/22 work in that plan. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to add to your homework for 1018. We would like, and the reason why we put up this live today and didn't wait until next week is because we want you to be talking about this on 1018. Number one, on 1018, we want you to message removal. We want you to take a break. We had Kira Havens from Citizens Impeachment on last week talking about how Trump has literally committed treason. I mean, the man is committing treason as we speak. Every day. And she told us all, which I thought was a great idea, if you're speaking at one of these rallies, if you have a platform at all, say, I want to take 60 seconds, everybody, get out your phone, put in the phone number for Congress, 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. Call your representatives and demand impeachment. Make that an exercise. Put actual tools into No King's Day. So that's my first piece of homework. My second piece of homework is please spread the news about 11/22. If you're able to, print out these flyers, pass them out, especially if you are in the Northeast corridor, the I-95 corridor, anywhere within driving distance of Washington, D.C. As like Cliff said, if you're penniless or physically disabled, we're not asking you to do this. You can get involved from home from places like citizensimpeachment.com and making calls. But if you are able, if you can mobilize, use 1018 as an opportunity to network and talk about 11/22 so we can, let's make history together. Let's do it. Let's do it. And let's have something to actually be grateful for on Thanksgiving. This was what I loved about this happening the week before Thanksgiving. Like, let's have something to give honest gratitude for, because we actually, for once, fucking showed up in ways that were in a way that was undeniable for our country.
And we're going to be safe, and we're going to have fun, and we might make it a costume party. I don't know. We're going to have live music,
yes.
comedy shows. We're going to have great speakers. And as far as donating, we need to raise money to make the event happen, but we also need to raise money to make the event happen, in the sense that we need to do billboards. We need to do billboard trucks. We need to print flyers. We're going to need to do Facebook ads and Google ads. We want to spend some money to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to amplify this and to make this literally a historical day in DC.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see one comment I'm going to address before I sign everybody off. And that's, I see people saying, reach out to Jane Fonda, reach out to different celebrities. One thing that we're going to be doing is you're going to see a lot of social media content from us about 11/22. So you can be prepared for that. But one thing you can do is you can make a video to camera asking your favorite celebrity to talk about 11/22, remove the regime.
100%.
Do that. Don't just tag them. Call them out by name on video with your voice, with your face. Put them on the record, and I think we can really get some amazing support from some really big places for this.
And tag them and email them. So let's give people specific homework right now. If everybody watching will email Jane Fonda or reach out to her through socials. And maybe Mark Ruffalo as well, I think would be a really good person to have involved in this. I think Bruce Springsteen would be an amazing person to have involved in this. So maybe let's focus on those three right now. If you're watching this live, we would really love it if you would email all three of those people before you go to bed tonight or before you have lunch tomorrow or whatever. And if they get 100 emails with the same topic, they're probably going to read one of them. So you never know. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Can I just say your guys' comment section's fantastic?
I have the best audience in the world. Shout out to my Lights On audience. These people are the most engaged, dedicated Americans. They are the most incredible supporters of me, of the Removal Coalition, of Cliff, of you, Hunter, and 5051 SoCal, and everything that we do. They are all, like, literally every time I put on one of these shows where I'm specifically asking for help and engagement, they answer the call. This Lights On is a movement, so my audience is like second to none.
Yeah, there's only so much, because 5051 still figuring out what its next action is going to be after No Kings as a whole, right? We collab and uplift tons of events happening around the country. I'm sure when the time comes, we'll be shouting you guys out and supporting you guys. But I don't know what the next official 5051 planned action is going to be, although I do know some chapters are involved with you guys. So there's only so much I can say, and also Cliff's funnier than I am. So I've been spending half the time just reading your comments and just like kind of laughing to myself because this is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. Well, look, we hope to get 5051 on as an official partner, like super official partner, not just through the coalition and the individuals, but in the individual chapters that have joined us. But let this be the next 5051 National Day of Action in Washington, D.C. only. This is it. This is it. I'm putting it out there, 5051. This is your next National Day of Action, 11/20/22. We are claiming you because we love you and we know that you want to support. You want to support this amazing action. So listen. The whole theme of this is we've got no time to waste, and like, you know, we just have to put it all on the line. So we're embracing you, 5051. Embrace us.
Yeah. What I will say is, again, we're a decentralized movement, so I don't want to make any bold claims. I can say that several chapters are part of the Removal Coalition, and through that, we are, those chapters are involved because they're part of the Removal Coalition planning this event. When it comes to the movement as a whole, I do know that we are having, pretty soon, we're going to be having a public opportunity for people to let their chapters know and let the movement know what they would like to see 5051 do next. So if 11/22 really speaks to you, just as if anything else that is pro-democracy, anti-fascism, and nonviolence speaks to you, you can let your chapters know and you can let the movement know. And who knows? Maybe 11/22.
Sounds like more homework, gang.
Little bit. It's always
right,
good to have
friends.
some homework.
So good to see you both.
On here with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Hunter Dunn, 5051 SoCal and National Press Coordinator for 5051, and the one and only Cliff Cash, my friend.
Assistant Manager of Antifa.
Assistant Manager of Antifa. Yeah, I'm secretary, but I feel like I've been furloughed. I just haven't gotten a paycheck in so long.
But
all right, everybody.
I forgot to say, I'm going to be in DC this weekend. I'm going to be leading people into Congress with our good friends at Flair on Friday morning. We're going to meet at Union Station. We'll talk a little bit. We'll give you kind of a rundown and a script. We're going to lead you into Congress and get loose and make some noise. And then I'll be there on the 18th for No Kings as well. We're also going to do a Fox News DC protest 4:00 on Friday in DC. And you can find out more about that through Flair, flairusa.org, and also through foxtakedown.com.
Yeah, Flair USA that got their permit back that should have never been taken away in the first place. So
you guys,
the movement is strong. We're not going anywhere.
Sorry.
All right, guys. Have a great night. 11/22. Link in the description. Support us if you can. Most importantly, join us if at all humanly possible. And we'll see you on 10/18 first in the streets. Have a wonderful evening. As always, let your light shine. Thank you, guys.
Punch Nazis.
No Kings.